it's Marley from the Energy Boutique with your energy forecast for Thursday, November 2nd. So we do have the moon in her place of power in this Cancer energy all day. Definitely makes us a little bit more introverted. We're a little bit more withdrawn. We want to kind of stick to what is old, tried, tested, and true. We want to stick to what is comfortable and familiar while we kind of gain a new grounding point, a new foundation, a new anchor point of our emotional realm. Now, the Cancer energy, very focused on the home, on the family dynamic, really nurturing ourselves back to a place of happiness, of safety, of stability. We have a lot of water energy swirling, seeing as, of course, the sun is in Scorpio season, the moon in her place of power in this Cancer energy, definitely helping us to kind of cleanse our energy, restore, renew, refresh our emotional stance, and of course, put us in a situation where our intuition is coming in a little bit stronger, revealing a little bit more to us, which here today, I'm kind of thinking is going to act as a point of change, a pivotal point of adjustment. There's going to be a certain amount of clarity, and it may come from dysfunction and discontent, but nonetheless, we're going to have a realization here today that is going to put us in a situation to make some minor adjustments to our mood, to our attitude, to our mental plane, to our perspective, and our path moving forward. So there are 8 different aspects here today, 7 of them going to involve the moon. Before I jump into today's energy, I'm going to remind you to take a listen to November's energy forecast that I have put out there for your listening pleasure to kind of understand the energy that's coming at us here in November. And I am going to encourage you to download your zodiac forecast as well. That gives you a good idea on where these particular energies are going to manifest in the area of your life that needs this time, this energy, this attention. So we kick the day off with the moon in Cancer, making a not so nice aspect, a semi-square with Uranus. Uranus is the great awakener, retrograde in Taurus energy, trying to highlight for us where it is that we're blocking the progress, where it is that we're too connected, too attached, too much holding on to the old, where there are fears and doubts and insecurities, to release these particular attachments because of the lack of trust that we currently have in ourselves, in the cosmos, to replace these spaces, these voids, with something better. The moon interacting with Uranus in this way is likely going to create a lot more confusion than the normal clarity if this was a positive aspect, but we do have to kind of sit in the confusion as we've been sitting in, as we kind of gain momentum to this burst of clarity that's going to come in, that's going to kind of hit the fast forward button, going to accelerate this particular time frame and put us in a totally different position. So this is going to illuminate some aha moments, some epiphanies on where it is that the confusion is illuminating, where change and adjustment is needed first and foremost. The moon is then going to make a positive interaction with the North Node in Aries energy. This North Node is acting as the point in which we need to get to, the soul path that we need to get on for this particular soul mission, soul purpose, soul quest. Because this is a good interaction, we're trusting our emotions, we're trusting our intuition on what it is that we're being guided to. And in some situations and circumstances, you may be realizing what it is that you need to be kind of creating distance from. Now, sometimes we need to know what it is that we don't want in order to figure out what it is that we do want. Sometimes we need to figure out what we need to create distance from in order to actually understand the path that we now need to pursue. This is definitely one of those moments. We are gaining a little bit of clarity, we're gaining a little bit of intuitive insight and recognizing where it is that the struggle in this current circumstance is creating a pathway for us to move away from it and move into something new. The moon is going to make a trine, beautiful interaction with the sun. And of course, the sun is in Scorpio energy, a water sign. The moon is in Cancer energy, a water sign. This water on water action is, again, very cleansing, very emotional, very intuitive, very spiritual in nature. It's renewing us, it's refreshing us, it's rejuvenating us, preparing us for the resurrection, for the rebirth of our soul, of our spirit, of this next karmic chapter that, of course, is going to come into full form with that new moon in Scorpio on November 13th. So this is an illumination, if you will, on what it is that we're changing, what it is that we're transforming in our emotional realm in preparation for taking the actions needed in order to change and transform our exterior realm. The moon is going to sextile with Jupiter. Jupiter is the planet of growth, expansion, beliefs, abundance, and blessings. He's retrograde in this Taurus energy. Now, this is a sextile, so there's a merging of these energies, and emotionally speaking, we are definitely seeing where it is that we want to go and grow from here, where it is that we want to create new opportunities for change, for transformation, for abundance, for blessings. But we also need to kind of consider where it is that maybe we've been a little bit extra, a little bit dramatic, especially with our emotional reactions. Maybe we're overacting. Maybe we are overly responsive to our external environment. Maybe we are biting off more than we can chew. Jupiter is magnifying for us where it is that we're kind of doing too much or thinking too much or feeling too much. Now, granted, this is a positive interaction, so this is going to highlight for us where it is that moderation is needed, where we kind of have to kind of slow things down, if you will. Now, if the feelings or the thoughts of discontentment or struggle are being over-exaggerated, this is a good thing. Take that hint and clue on where it is that you need to continue to modify those particular energies, where it is that you have to kind of calm yourself down to become more logical and practical on how it is that you're going to approach these particular quote unquote problems and how it is that you're going to solve them. Now, this is a positive interaction, which means that there are a lot of positive emotions coming to the surface as well. We're feeling a little bit more optimistic. We're feeling a little bit more confident. We might not know why, but we're definitely feeling a little bit of a pep in our step. Again, adding to this particular energy where we're approaching a pivotal point of change, of transformation, of adjustment. The moon is then going to make a positive interaction with Venus. Venus, of course, the goddess of love, beauty, worth, pleasure, and money. She's in the Virgo energy that isn't quite her most favorite place to be in. We're taking a more intellectual, analytical approach to our feelings, trying to whittle away who and what makes us happy, who and what doesn't, what the problem areas are in our lives in order for happiness, joy, pleasure, safety, security, stability to become more of a much normal thing in our lives. And of course, examining the areas that are preventing us from creating that particular energy, that particular space. Now, the moon interacting with Venus in this way, definitely getting us in touch with what it is that we're thinking, what it is that we're feeling, what it is that we're realizing that first and foremost, we need to do for ourselves. Where do we have to nurture ourselves? Where do we have to pull back from trying to make the changes to other people, to our relationship dynamics, to our external circumstances, and start building a brand new foundation, a stronger structure of our emotional anchor point within ourselves? This is heart-led, but of course, with the Virgo energy, it is all up in the head space. We're trying to think our way through some emotions, and because intuition is coming very, very strongly to us because of the moon in Cancer, there is this kind of balance that we're going to have to strike between logic and practicality and emotional, intuitive insight. The sun in Scorpio going to make an interaction with Neptune. Neptune is retrograde in his place of power in this Pisces energy. So first off, let's just say that, this is water on water action, but it's not the nicest interaction, which means that the clearing out, the cleansing, the purification, the healing, the change, the transformation that we normally get with water energy is likely going to come from inner conflict, come from restlessness, come from overwhelming thoughts and feelings. Now, that's okay. Most people don't really enjoy that particular way of learning, but we're human, so many of us just learning the hard way. This is a time when we can feel overwhelmed by our thoughts, by our intuitive insights, by our emotions. This can be a time when we're feeling a little bit foggy as far as realizing what it is that we want to kind of do, what we kind of change. There can be an overwhelming awareness and illumination on where it is that we're feeling very low, very depressed, very discontent, very, very much just at a point of having our back against the wall with this particular point and chapter of suffering. And all of this is triggering and activating a new empowerment energy within us. Sometimes we have to kind of be beat down, put our back against a wall before we're going to be bold enough to actually boss up and make some changes. Now, this is a restless type of energy and it doesn't feel good. And it's going to challenge us to either focus on the woe, poor is me, victimhood mentality. I'm never going to get out of this. Why does this keep happening to me? Why am I being punished? Or it's going to renew our faith, our trust, our ability to see the forest past the trees, so to speak, and understand that this particular painful timeline or circumstance has been divinely scripted by our higher selves to push us into our power. Now, we may not have the confidence that we want or we need. We may not have the clarity that we want or need. We may not even have the willpower to kind of boss up and to make the changes that we know that we have to make. And again, we're lacking direction. That doesn't mean that there's not a major change, a major transformation percolating within us. This is understanding where it is that we have another opportunity to kind of balance the scales within us, understanding the pain, the suffering, the struggle, but also understanding the ability to push that into a powerful, more in control type of energy and situation. This is taking the best of both worlds, realizing what it is that we're struggling with here in this materialistic realm and counterbalancing it with the spiritual type of, I'm going to say, perspective, mood, and attitude that we need in order to flip the script and see these particular struggles as an opportunity for growth and for learning. Now, the moon in Cancer is going to go ahead and trine Mars. This is a beautiful interaction because Mars, of course, rules over our physical energy, our drive, our passion, our desires. He's in his rulership in Scorpio energy. So again, another opportunity to have this water on water action. This is going to push us into a new realm of motivation, of inspiration, of being hell-bent, damn well and determined to make a change, to do what we have to do, not letting anything stop us in order to make the change, a transformation that we're currently trying to debate between. Now, especially coming out of that tougher aspect between the Sun and Neptune, this is a key indicator that we're actually going to boss up from that particular funk. And it's going to put us in a more, I'm going to say, tunnel visioned type of arena where we are seeing the ability for us to grow up, for us to boss up, for us to step into our power, for us to take our control back. So it's kind of like emotionally building within us. We have to build on the inspiration, build on the motivation, build on the passion and the excitement. And again, reminder, if you need to use anger and frustration as the fuel to keep your fire lit at this particular point, do what you got to do. Now, the last aspect that we have going on here today is the moon in Cancer, making a very awkward interaction with Saturn. Saturn is the Lord of Karma. He's retrograde in Pisces energy. Again, another water on water action. This particular one, though, probably going to bring us down a couple of pegs, probably going to give us a little bit of a reality check, probably going to put us in a little bit of a funk, a little bit of a Debbie Downer, negative Nancy type of narrative in order for us to realize where we have to break ourselves down in order to pick ourselves up, dust ourselves off, and kind of give ourselves a good kick in the ass in the right direction. Now, of course, this is about understanding where it is that the power of the mental plane, the power of our emotions, the power of what we focus on is going to be what we manifest. Yes, there's a little bit of a breakdown, but we do have the ability to use that breakdown as a stepping stone for a very powerful breakthrough. Saturn being in the retrograde in that Pisces energy is trying to deconstruct the old false belief system that our old egoic identity has built that physical realm on, that of course we're now not feeling in alignment with. And that can feel very heavy, very weighted, very overwhelming. We don't know how to clean it out. We don't know how to start from scratch. We don't know how to even initiate the removal process of some of these particular aspects within ourselves, within our mind space, within our emotions, within our circumstances, in order to actually have a clean slate to start building something new in its place that of course is going to be more in alignment with our real, raw, true, authentic selves. So yes, this is going to be a little bit of a time where, especially coming out of that aspect with Mars getting us all hopped up, fired up, ready to go to war, so to speak. This is kind of Saturn's way of saying, you know what, you need to pump the brakes a little bit. You can't kind of let that energy build to a point where you're just vibrating, where you got ants in your pants, where you're just restless, looking to take action and make moves, because you're going to act very, very quickly or react very quickly and waste your energy because you don't have focus, you don't have a plan, you don't have a strategy. So Saturn is here to kind of say, you know what, you need to pump the brakes a sec. You need to get your inner realm situated. You need to find a new grounding point, and tackle the changes and transformations not only happening within you, but that you want to see happen in your external realm with a lot more logic and practicality. We need a calculated strategy so that when we're gifted with this green light go ahead after we kind of close the door on eclipse season, which again will not be closed fully until the new moon in Scorpio on November 13th, we have some building to do. We have some planning to do. We have some strategies to make. We have to get our inner realm right so that we know exactly what it is that we have to do, what we have to attack, what we have to execute once this eclipse energy clears and we know the karmic chapters that we're now moving into.